Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá ni ẹ dìbò náà fún. Ọmọlúwàbí Ọ̀ṣun, olóríire Ọ̀ṣun, àrẹ̀mú Ọ̀ṣun, ó ti sọ̀tún ní tuntun, ó sọ gbódìlé, ó tà sàndọjà, ó sì sáwò ìyàrá, olóríire ọmọ, Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá, ńlẹ́ ọmọlúwàbí Ọ̀ṣun Ìjẹ̀ṣà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọmọ ilẹ̀ òbí, tẹ́mi gbọ́lá o, ọmọ agbọ́dọ̀ pọ̀ nílé ìmòyọ̀ lẹ́lẹ̀ lóró ẹlẹ́fọ̀n, ńgò kékèké ní sàṣọ lóde ìsájọ gbọ́dọ̀ tiẹ̀ ní aṣáṣọ àwọn Ìjẹ̀ṣà, èyí tán rí lọ́jà ní ẹ̀rọ wá fún mi nílé máa rí yeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyeyey
Every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major story, President Goodluck Jonathan approves appointment of Sulaiman Abba as new Inspector General of Police. Also in this program, Osun Governor Ralph Aregbesola protests harassment and sporadic shootings by security forces in the state ahead August 9 governorship election. Governor Tanko Al-Makura of Nasarawa State vows to defend himself before the impeachment panel constituted to probe him. And outside Nigeria, World Health Organization set to announce $100 million emergency response.
And tonight in business news, Central Bank of Nigeria dashes hope of some operators of Bureau de Change as minimum capital requirements in its revised directives deadline.
In sports, Nigerian Football Federation unveils guidelines for August 26 Executive Congress elections.
It's good to have you stay on with us. It's CoreTV Primetime News. Now, details of the headlines and other stories. The new Inspector General of Police, Sulaiman Abba, on Thursday evening turned up at the presidential villa for a closed-door meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan. He was accompanied by outgoing Police Chief Mohammed Abubakar, who told journalists that he was leaving the police a fulfilled man.
What a good journey. 35 years is not a joke, and I think it's an opportunity for me to thank the people of Nigeria, particularly Mr. President, for giving me the opportunity to serve as #1 cop in Nigeria, and it's been quite challenging, doubting, but a good journey. Thank God for this.
What do you expect the man succeeding you to, how do you expect him to face the challenges that you have?
Well, as
you're just leaving behind.
As somebody who has been in the police for quite some time and experience, he has the knowledge, he has the expertise. I expect him to take the police to the next level from where I left it.
From here, where do you go?
Where do I go home?
Yes. Are you going to farming? Are you going to politics?
No.
No, sir. No, sir. Just a minute. 1 minute. Okay, congratulations. Let them know. Okay. Let them know. He said that I will not do anything. Just leave. So, congrats, sir. Congratulations.
IG, what do we expect from them going forward?
IG, sir. What innovations are you going to bring?
Don't jump the gun.
The National Council of State has resolved to set up a committee to identify all discriminatory policies capable of eroding national unity. The council also agreed to back government's efforts to end the spate of terrorism in the country before December this year. All former heads of state, except Olusegun Obasanjo and Muhammad Buhari, attended the emergency meeting. We do apologize for the output of that video. We'll sort it out and get it across to you. A member of the Chibok community says he believes that Boko Haram has not been using some of the abducted schoolgirls as suicide bombers. Dr. Wakil Chibok told CoreTV News in Abuja that there is no proof that the abducted girls are behind the recent spate of suicide bombs. He was speaking against the backdrop of fears that the girls might have been indoctrinated after more than 100 days in captivity.
I don't think our girls are being used for suicide bombing. Anybody who tells you that one is not telling the truth. There are some men that dress like women, some of these suicide bombers. They put their women dresses and behave that they are women. Even the one that was caught in Kaduna, you know, he is a man, but he dressed in a woman dress. So nobody should, there's no evidence to prove that these girls were the one that were kidnapped and they were the one that were being used for this suicide bombing or something like that. I didn't see any evidence to agree to that.
The National Youth Service Corps has announced the redeployment of corps members from 7 northern states. The affected states are Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, and Yobe states. In a statement by the Director of Public Relations, Bose Aderibibe, said the decision followed the high rate of insecurity in some parts of the north. The corps members are part of the 2014 Batch B orientation course scheduled to commence on August 5, 2014. The NYC said due to logistic reasons, the orientation course will be conducted in 2 streams for different states. The Stream 1 exercise will be conducted from Tuesday, August 5th to Tuesday, August 26, 2014. Corps members posted to states listed in the Stream 1 category will undergo the orientation course in their respective states of deployment, while the Stream 2 exercise meant for the affected northern states had been scheduled for Monday, September 1st, 2014 to Monday, September 22nd, 2014. The NYC said corps members posted to Kano State would be notified of the state of their orientation in due course, while those posted to Osun State will serve in Osun for the second stream of the exercise. As the August 9th governorship election draws near in Osun State, the expected arrival of security personnel is coming to fruition, but not without a backlash from Osun citizens. Rashid x-rays the measures put in place by security agents and difficulties faced by residents. The report.
The Ogolua axis of the dual-carriage Bogon-Ibadan Road, also known as Ogolua Road in Osogbo, is practically the busiest due to its importance as it aids free flow of traffic. The traffic congestion on the road has increased due to the presence of security personnel. Journalists were not spared as some materials were confiscated by the security agents. A motorist, Alabi Alim, says he is surprised at the display of force and the resultant traffic jam caused by the security men.
I'm surprised because this is not the usual thing. It's not the normal thing because this is democracy. where I believe there is no need for police and so all the rest. I don't know. That's why I say I'm surprised.
Ogolua area of Oshogbo have the secretariats of major political parties like the PDP and the APC. This APC chieftain blamed the sudden outburst by men of the state security as sporadic shooting was earlier reported in some parts of Oshogbo by the DSS.
It's not fair, or it's not proper, but we are Nigerians. So this kind of things is not good in the civilized countries, but we are in Nigeria. So they use power. The essence of yes, it's too, this thing they want to panic our people, not to come out to vote. That's their mission.
A journalist, Nii Babade, says the harassment of journalists by the security agents is uncalled for. He said if this continues, people would be intimidated during the governorship election.
I've noticed them myself, the way they've been, you see masked men on the street, you know. If it's about election, if it's the security is purported to be about the election, then the people on the street should be allowed to go on their normal duty and transact their business. It shouldn't be these masked men on the street blaring their siren and making people to be terrified.
This is the popular Ogolua Road in Oshogbo, where we have most businesses located, most especially political parties, and even federal government apparatus like the Department of State Security Service. And it is their activities that is building this kind of hold-up. But most importantly, it is instilling fear in the minds of the people that if days to election, things like this are happening. What exactly will the day of election, the August night, what will it portend for the people of Osun? Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
Osun State Governor Ralph Aregbesola has condemned the action of the Department of State Security. He described the sporadic shooting and recent harassment of journalists as unleashing terror on law-abiding citizens of the state.
All those who are here shooting indiscriminately to the air, covering their faces, they are acting against the law of Nigeria. They are acting against the law of Nigeria. Nigerian people pay their salary every month. Nigerian people bought the uniform for them, but we did not buy masks for them. Confirm. Nigerian citizens do not buy masks for our law enforcement agents. Any agents acting under the cover of the Nigerian Constitution cannot mask in the presence of law-abiding citizens of Nigeria. Anyone that does so is acting against the Constitution. We will warn them officially, after which we will take our action against them. They have no right. They have no right to come and harass us in our own land. This is our land. God bless you. And until the end of our term, I'm the legitimate authority to govern this place. I love that. My term, this first term ends in November. And until that time, I am still the governor. God bless you. God bless you. I have legitimate authority to secure life of our citizens. Nobody, and there will be nobody can threaten and persecute us. We are here. We are here with the full body of the law. And we shall explore the law to the fullest to protect our lives and the part of our lives. We are here under the law. God bless you. Nobody can act beyond the law. There is a law in Nigeria. We have a peaceful state. We have governed this state with the best effort possible to maintain law and order. Nobody can disrupt the peace of this state. We shall confront them if that is what they want from us.
Civil servants in Ekiti State have threatened to embark on total strike over the deduction of their salaries and non-remittance of cooperative fund by the state government. The workers demanded that the government expedite action in paying the money of a strike. Rashid was there. He filed in this report.
In a protest to the State House of Assembly, the workers said the deductions are unacceptable and demanded that their money be refunded. Chairman of the State Public Service Joint Negotiation Council, Oladimupo Johnson, said failure of government to pay the money will amount to industrial action.
Upward of 4 months now, and that is exactly what we are asking the government to pay. It's not a negotiating issue. It's an established fact. And we are just mediating to avoid this type of crisis we are now seeing. And we don't want it to go out of control. That's why we are intimidated. We are telling the government to expedite action between now and Friday and tomorrow to pay. Let me tell you, we are on 31st of July, and the salary for July has not been paid.
The workers told journalists that they had earlier given the government a 7-day ultimatum, but have not gotten any response.
We are protesters. We are unable to collect our deduction for our cooperative, which they have deducted for the past 4 months. It's for the cooperatives, from the cooperative. That means we are collecting our salary, and what they declared, they didn't give it to us. Why are they treating us like that? Let him give us our money.
Johnson added that the workers will not relent in pursuing their demands to a logical conclusion.
That we shall take decision at appropriate time. Already we've given the government 7-day ultimatum. We expired last week, and we are still expanding it because the situation is ongoing. If by any means, if the government refuses to pay, by implication, you know what that means? It means that the government is insensitive to the nannies and the welfare of workers, and they want them to die financially, prematurely on service, and then at appropriate time, at appropriate forums and organization structure, we are going to take decision.
While responding to the protesters, Commissioner for Labour and Productivity, Oluwole Ariyo, said government will do everything within its power to resolve the crisis.
So government has been looking elsewhere to ensure that salaries are paid as and when due. And the issue of the other deductions, the Accountant General said is looking at possibilities of ensuring that these ones are paid, because these are the entitlements of civil servants anyway. There's no way anybody can hold on to it.
Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Judicial workers have demanded a written undertaking from both the federal and state governments for the implementation of a judgment of the Federal High Court, Abuja, on the funding of the judiciary. The president of the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, Marwan Adamu, blamed the crisis on the Accountant General of the Federation, Jona Otunla, for failing to begin implementing the judgment of the court. The court had, in the judgment delivered on January 13, 2014, declared as unconstitutional the piecemeal approach of funding the state judiciary by various state governors. The workers had proceeded on the strike after state government failed to yield to the union's demand for compliance with the judgment. It said the union only embarked on strike after government's refusal to honor the 21 days ultimatum it had twice issued since February, and also on the basis of the government to show enough willingness to start implementing the court order. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take this break. Stay with us.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to travel the city of Lagos went dark as all routes.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV,
our 24-hour news station.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News. The 7-man panel set up by the Nasarawa State Chief Judge Sulaiman Umaru Dikko to investigate allegations of gross misconduct against Governor Tanko Al-Makura has begun sitting behind closed doors in Lafia. The panel commences deliberations as it became obvious that the State Chief Judge had shunned a directive of the State House of Assembly that it should be dissolved because its members were apologies of the All Progressives Congress. Journalists who were barred by armed security agents, including the police and soldiers, from entering the conference hall of the state's Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs venue of the sitting. Heavily armed security agents were also at the Government House, UAC Junction and Makurdi Road to avoid breakdown of law and order. The House had, at its sitting on Wednesday, asked the Chief Judge to dissolve the panel. The governor, however, says the sitting of the lawmakers on Wednesday was illegal as it was held outside the Assembly complex. He argued that instead of directing the State Chief Judge to reconstitute the 7-man panel, the House should have gone to court to seek a legal means of dissolving the panel. Nasarawa State Governor Tanko Al-Makura is not prepared to comment on the ongoing impeachment process in his state. He told journalists shortly after the National Council of State meeting that he would only speak when he appears before the investigative panel.
Once I appear before the committee to investigate me, you hear all my colleagues.
The All Progressives Congress has slammed the People's Democratic Party's members of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly for demanding the dissolution of the 7-man panel set up by the State Chief Judge to probe the impeachment allegations against Governor Tanko Al-Makura. APC described the call as unreasonable, unconstitutional and way too late. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party said the demand by the lawmakers showed that they either had a very poor understanding of the Constitution or that the legislators are blinded by the desperation to impeach Al-Makura. The party said either way, the legislators have boxed themselves into a tight corner, adding that holding an illegal sitting in Abuja with a fake mace is as ridiculous as the demand by the lawmakers for the dissolution of the panel set up by the Chief Judge. APC said that it was not surprised by the unwarranted and illegal call for the dissolution of the panel by the PDP members of the Nasarawa legislature, stressing that the call falls within the realm of the runaway impunity for which the PDP and the Goodluck Jonathan administration have become infamous. It ordered that this is the first time in the history of our democracy that the House of Assembly is seeking to dissolve the panel of 7 judges it requested to be set up. The Abia State House of Assembly has debunked rumors of plans to impeach Governor Theodore Orji, describing the speculation making the rounds as baseless and unfounded. Deputy Speaker and House Committee Chairman on Information, Awel Okere, made the clarification in Umuahia. Okere said the Assembly maintained the best of relationships with the governor, adding that the issue of impeachment is unimaginable. He attributed the rumor to government distractors and mischief makers whose intention is to cause confusion in the state. The march talked about 1 million youth march in support of President Goodluck Jonathan did not hold. Organizers of the rally, Jonathan Youth Vanguard and Niger Delta Youth Leaders Council, had claimed that over 500 groups were coming into Abuja to drum up support for a second term for the president. But there was no activity at the Eagle Square in spite of security presence. News later filtered out that the organizers decided to suspend the rally because of the prevailing mood in the country. There were, however, indications that the groups were prevailed upon to call off the planned rally. The Deputy Governor of Osun State has encouraged Nigerians to cultivate the habit of reading. She says reading has the ability to enhance the human mind. She made the statement at a book lunch in honor of the State Governor Ralph Arebeshola. Olajumoke Olatunji has more. We do apologize, we cannot bring you that report now, but we will do that later. The federal government has been commended for introducing the new electronic passport launched by President Goodluck Jonathan. A public affairs analyst, Victor Okai, says the new e-passport is a welcome development as it will reduce the stress experienced by frequent travelers.
There's a need to have enough pages. So I think it's a welcome development, and it's like the idea behind having multiple entry visas, for instance. If you had to go to an embassy every time you have to travel, for frequent travelers, you know, it's a waste of time. But with one visa, multiple entry, you can go and come in as many times as possible. So I see the 64-page e-passport as something in the same mold. For regular, frequent travelers, for instance, you don't have to go to the passport office every couple of months or every year to get a new passport.
The Lagos State Ministry of Health held a press briefing to commemorate the 2014 World Breastfeeding Week celebration. Our health correspondent, Anita Fatunji, has details.
The Special Advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Public Health, Yewande Adesina, says World Breastfeeding Week is introduced to promote, protect and support exclusive breastfeeding amongst women.
The federal government of Nigeria's policy on child survival strategies and the National Food and Nutrition Policy of Nigeria, appropriate breastfeeding practice with early initiation of baby to breast is crucial to child survival, optimal development and growth. World Breastfeeding Week, therefore, is an annual event set aside to promote, protect and support exclusive breastfeeding practices for children 0 to 6 months of age and for sustaining breastfeeding for up to 2 years and beyond with adequate complementary feeding. The theme of the 2014 World Breastfeeding Week is Breastfeeding, a Winning Goal for Life. This theme is to draw attention to the critical race of achieving the Millennium Development Goals, particularly MDGs 4 and 5, and to highlight the significant role of breastfeeding to the attainment of the MDGs.
Additional outlined a series of events that will take place from the 1st to 7th of August 2014.
The week-long event will take place from the 1st to the 7th of August 2014 at all health facilities in the local government and local council development areas. During this time, they are expected to provide maternal and child survival services with particular emphasis on the promotion and support for early initiation of breastfeeding within 30 minutes of delivery, exclusive breastfeeding practice, continuous breastfeeding with complementary feeding from 6 weeks of age to 2 years and beyond, all with other breastfeeding issues and practices. During the week-long exercise, the local government and LCDAs would be visited by representatives of the State and Primary Healthcare Board towards the identification and selection of the best LG or LCDA in nutrition service delivery, particularly as it relates to breastfeeding promotion, support, and protection. Furthermore, the activities of the Community Health and Nutrition Link, hitherto known as malnutrition trackers, would be assessed for the selection of outstanding CHNN link, that is outstanding malnutrition tracker, and both categories presented with awards at the grand finale.
She appealed to the general public to be committed to supporting and protecting every breastfeeding mothers they come in contact with. This, she say, will encourage early initiation or exclusive breastfeeding by nursing mothers. Anita Fatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
One of the events put together to commemorate the annual Lafoche Festival was hosted by the Ewenla Socio-Cultural Foundation, headed by Folashade Filani. The celebration took place at Oderemo Town Hall. Ebuloma Adekunle was there. She filed in this report.
Lafoshe Festival is peculiar to the people of Oderemo in Ogun State. Lafoshe, from the Yoruba word Afoshe, means it shall be as said. It is a festival that spans a week, with every indigene of Oderemo expected to be in attendance. It is a period to celebrate the supernatural powers that lie in the tongues of the people to have whatever they say. This year's festival featured a separate event for the aged from 60 years and above, tagged Full of Life. The convener, Folashade Filani, explains the reason for the initiative.
It was just an initiative that came to me. When I came into Oderemo to come and do politics here, I found, a lot of people in a impoverished state that I could not believe that does exist. I came from England, and it was surprise to me that you give somebody 100 naira and they will pray and pray as if you've done something great. We're going to enjoy ourselves, we're going to dance, there's going to be award in recognition of people who have contributed to the society, and we have UCH coming. The doctors are on strike, but we have UCH all the way from Ibadan, who despite their strike have decided to come, seeing it worthy a cause. If you go outside there, you see some aged. They are doing their hair, maybe weaving or plaiting it. Some are cutting their nails. They are doing their barbing. It's part of the package that we have for them.
Participants and beneficiaries of the event expressed joy and prayed the next year would be better.
We are making the hair for free. We hairdressers in Oderemo are doing the inspiration of Lafoshe.
It's the Lafoshe Festival. Last year we did the same, and this year we are doing it again. Any indigene of Remo should come and have their hair cut for free.
We are happy. We indigenes of Lafoshe Ode are having our festival hairdos with our mom, Filani. It's fine. Everyone has come around to celebrate with us.
The people of Oderemo gather yearly to rekindle their belief in the power of the tongue. Ebuloma Adekunle, CoreTV News, Oderemo.
Or for more on the interview with Folashade Filani, hook up on the next edition of Women in Politics with Ebuloma Adekunle. We'll take another break. When we return, it will be time for business and sports. Stay with us.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
A 24-hour news station.
Hello there and welcome to Business News with me, Sabena Izoku.
Today is the deadline for the Bureau de Change BDC operators in the country to meet the new and augmented minimum capital requirements set by the Central Bank of Nigeria in its recently revised directives. Central Bank of Nigeria increased the capital base for the Bureau de Change by 25%, representing 35 million naira as against the former 10 million naira. Mandatory cautionary deposit was equally reviewed from 3 million naira to 35 million naira to be deposited in a non-interest yielding account with the Central Bank of Nigeria, while licensing fees was also increased from 500,000 naira to 1 million naira, with an annual renewal fee of 25,000 naira checked out from 10,000 naira. Nigeria's Apex Bank says very high number of traders seeking dollars has caused a dwindling of foreign currency reserves in the country, dropping 17% from a year before. Economists have, for the most part, hailed the new policy, saying it will shore up reserves for the central bank and boost the naira before the 2015 general elections. Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve rose to $38.94 billion on July 24th, a 4.67% increase over the level a month ago, when there were $37.20 billion owing to slower drawdowns by the Central Bank of Nigeria to defend local currency. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria show that the reserves of Africa's biggest economy have steadily grown in the last 2 months due to increased accretion and moderation in the rate of deflation. Forex reserves are, however, down by 17% year-on-year. Reserves stood at $46.87 billion on July 24, 2013. The naira has remained stable at around 161 to 162 naira to a dollar on the interbank market and 155 naira 75 kobo on the official window, on the back of the support from the dollar sale by some energy companies and offshore investors buying local debts. The federal government says it has secured a fresh funding of about 100 billion naira for developmental projects over the next 5 years from the European Development Fund. The immediate past supervisor minister for national planning, who is now Minister of State for Finance, Bashir Yuguda, disclosed this in Abuja during his handing over to the newly appointed Minister of National Planning, Abubakar Suleiman. Yuguda says the deal was one of the achievements he recorded while at the ministry, and in that he was also able to launch a study of the informal sector, which will enable it to be fully integrated into the economy. He said the agreement, which was sealed in Kenya, will help address some of the challenges that Nigeria is facing in its quest to achieve its developmental goals. Yuguda expressed optimism that the incoming minister will be able to leverage on some of the work that he had begun to contribute significantly to the transformation of the economy. Responding, Suleiman promised to work with his members of staff of the ministry to consolidate on the successes so far recorded by his predecessor. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development says there will be abundant harvest this season in the North Central region, due to good access to farm inputs by farmers. The Regional Director, North Central Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Sunday Edibo, says that while interacting with newsmen in Minna. Edibo says that the federal government collaboration with private investors had made access to inputs more easy and affordable. He also added the inauguration of the largest rice mill in the country by President Goodluck Jonathan will increase the export of the commodity. 1 year after successful enforcement of the no premium, no cover policy in the nation's insurance industry, the economy last year witnessed generation of additional 228 million naira of the total industry revenue over the preceding year. Consequently, as at the end of 2013, 1 year after the policy became operational, the insurance industry recorded an estimated premium figure of 285 billion naira, with over 80% of this being cash-backed business, unlike in the past when cash business was less than 40% and the receivable over 60%. The implication of this is that before the new policy, about 68.4 billion naira of the 171 billion naira being generated by the insurance industry, a development that had continued to impact negatively on the operations of the insurance company in the country. Analysts who assess the policy say it has put the insurance sector on edge and in another phase of increased responsibility, consumer relationship, and confidence sustainability. The federal government has launched 10,000 affordable housing mortgage scheme. The scheme, according to the finance minister and the coordinating minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, is private sector driven to help eligible Nigerians acquire homes through mortgage. 10,000 Nigerians are expected to benefit from the mortgage ranging from 2 million to 20 million naira under the scheme.
It's no longer news that Nigeria has a housing deficit of 17 million units. But what is new is that government is rolling out a mortgage scheme to address the shortfall. The first step was made by the Finance Ministry in conjunction with the Housing and Land Ministry. Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala says 10,000 people will be the first beneficiaries of the private sector-driven government initiative.
We jointly declare this open. Ibrahim applied for a 2-bedroom flat, and we hear from the CEO of some trust that within 3 days you're going to get some answer from him about whether you qualify. So we are going to track him down the middle of next week to find out if we have delivered. Thank you very much.
There are, however, specific criteria that an eligible applicant must fulfill.
You know, sometimes in our tradition, maybe the man where they're paying, both of them are paying for this thing, but he goes and files only his name. So we don't want the women to be left out of this. So if both of you are paying for the property, then the name of the woman must also be part of it. Similarly, yes, I can see some of the men saying that the shoe can be on the other foot. Women, if your husband is joining you to pay for this property, his name must also feature on that. So that's the essence of that joint, because to avoid very palatable situations that arise, as we all know in our culture.
The scheme is to be powered by the Nigerian Mortgage Refinancing Company.
Who can build 30,000 in 2 months. You see, but you see, those people are not going to put the amount of investment required if they don't have what? Offtake. It's the offtake that we are creating. You see? So once that offtake is there, people now, investors have the wherewithal to say, you know what, I can now invest into this country so that we can now build 20, 30, 40, 50,000 houses.
To benefit from the scheme, an applicant is expected to log into the project website where applications will be received.
Now on the stock market report, the equity transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The Nigerian Stock Exchange All Shares Index depreciated by 271.53 points to close lower at 42,097.46 basis points. Market capitalization decreased by 0.64% to close lower at 13.900 trillion naira. In all, a total of 355 million shares valued at 6.91 billion naira were exchanged in 6,248 deals. Reports show that 40 Oil PLC topped the gainers chart, followed by 7-Up PLC, Nigerian Brewers PLC, Stanbic IBTC PLC, and Ashaka Cement PLC. On the other hand, Dangote Cement PLC led the losers chart, followed by Guinness PLC, UACN PLC, International Brewers, and GlaxoSmithKline PLC. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on Business News. Coming up next is Sport News with Branson Uwana, who's standing by to give us a lot of interesting story to tell us. Please stay with us.
Nigerians continue to travel the city of Lagos once agog as all
to you on be the first to know
on CoreTV News
from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV,
a 24-hour news station.
A very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Wana. The Nigerian Football Federation Electoral Committee has unveiled the details of all processes leading to the elections into the Executive Committee of the nation's football governing body on Tuesday, 26 August 2014. Endorsement and submission of forms will now take place between Thursday, 31st July and 6 p.m. on Monday, 4th August, while screening of candidates, endorsement and release of names of eligible candidates will take place between Tuesday, 5th August and Wednesday, 6th August 2014. Protests and appeal against candidates will be entertained latest on Monday, 11th August, while elections proper holds on Tuesday, 26th August 2014. And away from that, Hervé Renard has been appointed as head coach of Côte d'Ivoire by the Ivorian Football Federation, announced by FIF President Augustin Sidi Diallo in a press conference in Abidjan on Thursday. He succeeds Sabri Lamoche, who left the job following Côte d'Ivoire's first-round exit at the Brazil 2014 World Cup. The 45-year-old had made a three-shot list that also included fellow Frenchman Frédéric Antoine and Portuguese tactician Manuel José. His first objective will be to send the Elephants to the African Cup of Nations in Morocco 2015. Finally, on Sport News tonight, Manchester United's world record £750 million kit deal with Adidas will be cut by 30% if they fail to qualify for the Champions League in consecutive season for 2015 and 2016. The German sportswear giant could also cancel the contract if the club gets relegated from their Premier League. United failed to qualify for any of the European competition this season after finishing 7th in 2013-2014 season. They will want a big improvement under new manager Louis van Gaal. Details of the deal with Adidas, which was announced earlier this month, emerged after United offered more of their shares on the New York Stock Exchange. And that's a wrap on Sport News tonight. My name is Brownson Wana Gift Ogeta, standing by with foreign news. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. It's CoreTV Primetime News. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said he's excited about India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and says he wanted a new relationship with the new right-wing government. Kerry said he wanted to see things move in a very positive way as he seeks to reboot the U.S.-India relationship after a recent spate of diplomatic disputes between the world's two largest democracies. Kerry opened his first meeting with Modi's government on Thursday, including with Finance and Defense Minister Arun Jaitley, a key player in the new government. Kerry will meet with Modi on Friday, a Hindu nationalist who was shunned by Washington until his sweeping election victory in May. And that's our show for tonight. Thank you for watching. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gift Ogeta, wishing you a very good night rest. Good night.